guys play for the U19s that got valuable experience. A good group of freshmen that are coming into our program that have really worked hard and done some really good things in their preparation for the season. We return our top, I think, 7 or 8 scorers. So we have some experience. Obviously, the thing that you want is experience of success and guys really pulling the rope all in the same direction. But there's also a selfish piece to a lot of things that you do. Each one of our guys want to, they want to play, and they want to be a big part of us playing. And so we're going to have to, have some sacrifice within our team, like any team that's successful. And I think the keys don't come down to the talent. The keys come down to the production from that talent and the sacrifices you have to make to be on a team. And that's hard to do. That is a hard thing to do, but we got a group of guys right now that are working really hard and putting in a lot of time, just trying to get better each day. And I think what happens sometimes when you get picked to be one of the better teams, your management of that ends up being really crucial in terms of your success. And we don't want to have a celebration in October or November. We want to be able to be in the position that they're saying that we should be, come late February and March, hopefully continue for a Big Ten championship and having a good number next to our name. But we also know we have to earn that. And you have to earn that every single day and do a lot of little things so your program can be successful.
We will now open it up to questions. Over here in the corner.
Hi, Matt Travis with The Athletic. What do you think you took out of last year's NCAA loss to North Texas, and how has that worked moving forward?
Right. That's a good question because you see a lot of teams that are a favorite in the game, get knocked off in the NCAA tournament through the years, and then that team fragments through graduation or transfer, and then they're not the same team the next year. We have some new faces, but we have a lot more familiar faces on our team, and so that's what we really talked about was learning from that and being better, and even in a better position in next year's hopeful NCAA tournament. And we'll see. I think the answer, Bob, that lies from the question really comes in our actions, going forward. But I use Virginia as an example when they got knocked off in the first round a couple years ago, then turned around and won the national championship. And that was a devastating loss for them. But obviously they use that as motivation, and obviously they're the national champs the next year. So we have to be able to use that as motivation. And the thing that hurts you as a coach is that, North Texas's coach is a very good coach, friend of mine, and we talked about just how good they were and how tough they were. And so it wasn't something that we took lightly. We knew North Texas was very, really good. But that's part of the March Madness, and but we really tried to magnify some of the things that we struggled with in that game. Hopefully that can make us a better team, a better program.
We'll go back to the second row, but just a reminder to say your name and affiliation before your question, please.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, CNH Sports Indiana. Coach, your freshman class, how are they coming along? And I know that Trey Cochran had a hand injury.
Right.
How is it coming along health-wise as well?
Yeah, all three of them are great. They have a lot of similarities in their makeup. Very grounded, work hard, put a lot of time in, trying to improve and try to get themselves ready for the season. Ryan Waddell is from here in Indianapolis, from Carmel, has been fabulous. How he didn't have other high major offers just kind of blows my mind, to be frank with you. But just a winner, guys won 2 state championships, very fluid, understands the game. Trey Kaufman won 2 state championships also. Hurt his hand, as you mentioned, so that's setting back a little bit as he missed the first month of workouts in the summer. But can really score the basketball. He's got a good feel for what's going on, and just trying to learn from a defensive standpoint, and then all of our ins and outs offensively. offensively and the stuff that we run. Caleb first made the U19 team and really put himself in a great position. Got a chance to play 4 and 5 with the U19s, which he'll play for us. But very good, very mobile, can really move. Has really gotten to where he makes his free throws, can knock down open threes, good athlete, can move, and do a lot of different things. But all three of those guys have been really good.
Front row.
Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated. You mentioned in your opening statement about having so much depth and talent and people buying into that. How much are you looking forward to having that sort of versatility to match up with everyone all the way? And secondly, how much do you expect to see Travion and Zachy play together?
Yeah. Well, I think our matchups and with our team will really be determined more defensively than probably offensively. I think we can use that size together in snippets right now. It just depends on how skilled your forward is, or if we feel like we can flip that matchup offensively, to where we might have some struggles defensively, but not as much as you're going to have, at the other end. And what you can live with, I think, as a coach sometimes, that's what it really gets to. Having that kind of depth, being able to play a lot of different ways, can really help you. What's been working for you? A lot of times coaches like to stay with that, but sometimes what's been working for you now isn't going to work against this particular team that you get. That piece right there, as a coach, you wait for it kind of to organically come to you. You're kind of upset when it doesn't, and then you got to figure it out yourself. You make it difficult, but it's a very good problem to have. I wish I had the exact answer for you, but I think it's really going to depend on those other guys. The problem with like college basketball, and people say it's really tough to play big. Most people, big guys aren't very good. That's why, it's just the way it is, and especially their backups. And so for us, we can play Travion and we can play Zach together, but Mason Gillis is a good player, Trey Kaufman's a good player, Caleb First is a good player. So if I go the other direction, they're good players. So there's not going to be, so you got to be able to, Travion's got to be able to function defensively as a four is really the key to that answer. If he can do that, then he's going to put some bounds in there, because now it doesn't mean Travion floats on the perimeter more. We're going to go post up that for me. I think we see more zone. Our league really isn't a zone league, even though people probably play, if I had to guess, 10 to 20% of the time. But I think we see more zone, which is fine for us, because I think Travion's really good in that high post. And then Zach Eady just causes a lot of problems. He causes a lot of problems for us in practice. Like, I don't really have a good answer every day how to deal with him. And he's really improved. He's very, very good.
We have time for one final question. We'll go to the second row in the corner.
Hey Matt, Justin DePierac, Wilmington Herald Times. I was also going to ask you about Travion. I'm over here on your left.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Just to expand on what you're talking about Travion, obviously you guys tried doing the too big thing a couple years ago with him and Harms. What makes him better prepared? What makes Travion better prepared for this now than he was 2 years ago?
I don't know if he is. He's a really good player. He's a better player than he was 2 years ago. He has more knowledge of the game. He's such a good offensive rebounder and he's such a good passer. Those are his two extremes on a high level. And, you double him and, he's going to make you pay. You get the ball in the high post to him. You can run splits off it. You can do a lot of different things because he sees the floor so well. And then he's the fourth best offensive rebounder last year in college basketball. Has the 5. But do the pros outweigh the cons? That's the real question going forward. And we have other players. Other guys are good players too. So I think it can happen. I think there's going to be games it doesn't happen at all. I think there's going to be games that happens in snippets. And then if we can really work towards playing them together, you have to be able to take care of the basketball. You get two of the biggest guys on the court and they're anchored by the rim and a turnover happens. And now you've got to sprint to the other end and they're faster and they're running 80 feet and you're running 90 feet. I think we can all figure out how that ends. So you can't have a lot of that. Those pick sixes in basketball, it's not the same as football. Football doesn't have the 70 shots in a game from each team. They just don't get that piece of it. And so that gets magnified in the giveaway, takeaway in a football game. But in basketball, if you do that and you're just going to give people runouts, when you get against good teams, you got to be able to steal points. You got to be able to get on the glass and steal points. You got to have your defense create offense. You got to be able to get in transition. If you're just stuck in the half court playing against a really quality team, it's hard. It's really hard. And so you want to be the team flipping things to where you're stealing points. But if they're stealing points off of you, now you're playing in theory big, but it's counterproductive. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense no matter what the narrative is. Like you have to get, if you have functional people sitting on your bench not being able to play, and you just have size and you're not functional with it, the only time it's really advantageous is when a shot goes up. Now you're at it. We got to have the advantage when shots go up. We got to have an advantage offensive efficiency. We got to have an advantage defensive efficiency. And then if you take care of the basketball and you make good decisions, you're going to set your defense and stay out of transition. So I hope my Jerry McGuire statement makes sense.
Well, thank you so much for your time this morning, Coach. Good luck this season.
He needs somewhere to put his hands.
We will now take another